I have a confession to make. It's a secret I've never told anyone before, and it's kind of disturbing. So, if you are squeamish, well, if you're squeamish, then you shouldn't be in the sub in the first place, then should you? My brother and I used to be very close when we were young. He used to love having a little sister, but as we grew older, things changed. Over time, my brother would hang out with me less and less. Then he began to do mean things. Like this one time, Dad had made us sandwiches, and we were eating them in the kitchen. My brother sat across the table and he was giving this mischievous smile. I didn't think anything about it at first, but until I got a strange texture in my mouth. When I opened the sandwich up and looked inside, I was horrified to find there were dead bugs smushed into the peanut butter. Worms. I had already eaten half the sandwich and instantly threw up all over my plate, along with my breakfast. I could see worms in my vomit. I've never seen my brother laugh so hard. I hated him after that. There were other bad things, far too many to list here, but that was the worst. I was so mad at him that I scoured the garden for the most disgusting bugs I could find. I collected earthworms, ants, granddaddy longlegs, and whatever else I could find, and put them all into a mason jar. My plan was to dump the bugs on him at night while he was sleeping. I giggled to myself as I imagined them crawling all over him as he slept. After a little while, I found a worm unlike any I had ever seen before. It was delightfully disgusting, much more disgusting than all the other bugs combined. It was thick and slimy. Its color was dark brown with little orange dots all over. As soon as I saw it, I laughed to myself, imagining how horrified my brother would be waking up with this huge worm slithering in his underwear. I put it in the jar with the rest of the bugs and hid it in my closet. All I had to do was wait. 2 days later, my opportunity presented itself. My brother was grounded, so his bedtime was earlier than mine. I peeked in at him as I went to bed at 9. And he was sound asleep. So I tiptoed into my room and grabbed the jar. To my surprise, the only bug in the jar was that weird brown worm. All the others had vanished. And that's very strange. That's what I was thinking at first, but I was unnerved thinking that maybe the bugs escaped somehow, but that would have been impossible. The lid was sealed tight. The only explanation is that the freakish worm must have eaten all the others. That was quite disturbing. And it was definitely bigger too. That's okay. This bug is far more disgusting than all the other ones put together. When I picked up the mason jar, I heard what sounded like a hissing noise. It actually hissed at me. I didn't know worms could hiss, but apparently this one did. This was definitely the creepiest bug I had ever seen. My plan was to put it into my brother's undies. That would have been so funny, but unfortunately, I didn't think it was possible to do so without waking him, because I'd have to take the covers off and reach down there. So I did the next best thing. Using a pair of salad tongs from the kitchen, I ever so carefully placed the worm on the side of my brother's face. I giggled to myself as I watched the worm wiggle there on his cheek, leaving a mess of rotten slime. It made another hissing noise, but thankfully my brother was a very deep sleeper and didn't wake up. It tried to slither off his face, but I wouldn't let it off. Each time it was about to slide onto the pillow, I carefully grabbed it with the tongs and placed it back on my brother's head. After a few minutes of this, the worm stopped trying to climb off. Instead, it seemed interested in my brother's ear, perhaps looking for a dark place to hide. Yes, that's so perfect! Go down there, little wormy. Please go down there. I whispered eagerly to it. I giggled as the worm explored deeper into his ear canal and prayed that he wouldn't wake up too soon. Then, to my great amusement, the worm began to wriggle deeper into his ear. I put my hand over my mouth to hold my laughter in as it oozed inside. The thing was really quite large, so I didn't think it could possibly fit, but remarkably, after not so much time at all, it was all the way in there. Soon it was so deep, I couldn't even see it anymore. I have no clue how such a large worm could possibly slip in so easily into his tiny little ear, but I was so happy it did. Good. I'm glad. Serves you right, you big mean jerk, I whispered to him. I hope that worm stays in there forever. That next morning was Saturday. Everyone slept in but me. I was too excited to see my brother. I was wanting to hear him scream. I wanted to see him with an upset face. Initially, I was very disappointed when that didn't happen. At first, I didn't notice anything. I thought that maybe the worm must have crawled out when I went back to bed. However, it was soon obvious that something was different about my brother. I first noticed it when he sat down and watched cartoons. Usually we start off fighting about what we were going to watch, but this time he didn't fight with me at all. He seemed perfectly content to sit there and watch only the shows I wanted, girly shows that he would normally not tolerate at all. And then I noticed other things too, like if I told him to do something, he would just do it. At first I just asked him for more room on the couch so I could lie down, and he got off of it completely and sat on the hardwood floor. My old brother would have never done that. He would have just pushed me off the couch. Then I asked him for the remote, and he just gave it to me. Eventually, I realized the extent of these changes. Basically, to my great amusement, my old brother would do anything I told him to. He never complained. He never talked back. Of course, I took advantage of this. What sister wouldn't? I made him do funny things to see how far he'd go. Made him eat bugs in the garden. Now that was so funny. I made him eat all sort of gross things. Instead of going out with friends, I made him play Barbies with me all day long. Of course, Mom and Dad noticed too. The doctors they brought him to never found the worm. They couldn't find anything. That's good. I like my brother so much better this way. It's been a couple of years since then. My brother had to transfer to a special school for stupid kids. My parents think it's sweet of me to play with him despite his mysterious cognitive decline. He's in my room right now as I write this, staring at me blankly. There's a bit of drool dripping from his lower lip, but he doesn't seem to notice that at all. We're playing dress up, and he's a Barbie princess. I put makeup and lipstick on him, and he looks so silly. I can't help but laugh at him. TLDR. I turn my big, mean brother into a drooling idiot who does whatever I ask him to. Evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say thank you for over 100 at this point now subscribers. I'm very, very grateful to hit this milestone, and hopefully we can keep this momentum going. And either way, I've really enjoyed the past few months of reading stories, and I'm really grateful for all the people who have written stories and allowed me to narrate them, and for you guys for coming and watching and leaving likes and comments and spreading my content around. And I I don't really know what else to say other than thank you. It's, it means a lot to me. It really does. And to return on that, I have a small sort of special plan that I'm sure will tickle a few of you guys. Anyway, enough giggling out of me. I'll see you guys on the next video.